I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to stop trusting your feelings and trust your higher self instead. Because the truth is that trusting in an emotional reactive pattern of who you used to be absolutely has nothing to do with trusting your higher self. This is what most people think. They confuse themselves. They deceive themselves. They think that they're trusting in some higher force, yet really they've deluded themselves and they're trusting in an emotional reactive pattern of who they used to be. I'm gonna break this myth right now in this video. I'm gonna share with you how to really trust your higher self, who you actually are, and transcend the conditioning of who you used to be. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. Now, the first thing that I want to make very clear is that believing in an emotional reactive pattern is not your higher self. You want to come to that presence within you, come to that consciousness within you, and distinguish the difference between a reactive pattern and that awareness that you actually are, that presence, that consciousness. You want to start to see the difference because I believe that this is actually a skill set. Believe it or not, I think that training yourself to focus and concentrate is a skill set. This is a perspective that I've never actually heard anyone talk about. You can train your concentration. You can build your concentration. You can build the skill set of focus. You can absolutely build the skill set of being able to focus on that presence within you. You can focus on it. You can train that. And I think that most people neglect this skill because once you learn this is going to help you in literally, it's just who you are. Like, there's something that your heart and soul wants. And how much better do you think your life is going to be if you know that, oh yeah, this pattern, if I go in this direction, I'm going to repeat something that I've already experienced, right? So you want to avoid that. Not because you have to, but because why would you repeat something that is just not going to be exciting to you, right? You've already experienced it. It's the past. Do you want the past to define who you are? Is that the kind of life that you want to live? Do you want who you used to be the definition of who you are? See, I connect with people all the time on the phone because I'm a coach. And at least that's one role that I play, right? I'm not some authority figure or something. I'm just another human being like you, but sometimes I hop on the phone with people. And sometimes I hop on the phone with people consecutively, so more than once, right? So consecutively, I'll see a person, maybe once a week or something like that. Or, if they book more than one session, maybe in a week with the single sessions, then, I might see them a few times. But the thing is that what I've learned to do as I build my skill set of helping others, which I believe that helping others, the best way you can help others is step into your own alignment and sort of help people to trust themselves and to trust their higher self. Because I really don't honestly like to step into the role of like a teacher. I do it sometimes, and I hope that's not how I come across in these videos, but sometimes I come across like that. But the truth is that you want to learn to trust in something deeper. Now, when I connect with clients, one thing that I've learned to do is never to put somebody into a box of who they used to be. See, every single time I connect with a person, I don't see that person through the lens of who they were even yesterday or 2 hours ago or last week, because the thing is that consciousness is not linear. Time is not linear, especially when you're manifesting something consciously. You got to understand that it's not a linear process whatsoever, right? The 3D reality is what likes to think in like A, B, C, D, but it's not A, B, C, D. It could go from A to Z, and you can manifest thousands of dollars in an incredibly short amount of time. I've done this. I've manifested $20,000 literally within days when I used to be broke. I had that experience before. I had nothing. I had very little money, and then within days, I had $20,000. Timeline shift. Of course, I took the aligned action. I'm not saying that it came out of nowhere. I honored the belief systems that I had, and I owned that fully, and I stepped into alignment. But the moral of the story here is that I don't put people in boxes of who they used to be, because I think that's absolutely a horrible thing to do. That's one of the worst things you can do. That's one of the most, like, if you want to be selfless and serve somebody powerfully, the last thing you want to do is put them in a box of who they used to be. That's the last thing you want to do. You want to look at that person fresh and consider that there's infinite possibilities in that present moment for who that person can transform into. There's infinite possibilities in terms of who that person can be, and you want to start to step into this understanding that you can apply this to your own self as well. Who you are now is not who you're going to be 50 seconds from now, 2 minutes from now, or 5 hours from now. And you want to start to trust in those imaginal thoughts and that presence that's sort of intuitively guiding you to go somewhere. And understand that who you used to be has, I'm going to say, very little to do with who you're going to be. But if not very little, I could even say has nothing to do with who you used to be. But I'm just going to say very little for the purposes of making this message applicable to as many people as possible, okay? So the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is to think greater than your challenges. I used to have very bad skin issues. You can look at it right here. And please don't feel bad for me. I don't like when people like have pity for me or feel sorry. First of all, I've already overcame that challenge. Second of all, I don't want people to feel bad for me, because even if I was still sick, which I'm not, I want people to understand that self-pity is not always beneficial for somebody. You can help somebody find a solution without feeling sorry for them. You don't have to feel bad for somebody to really support them. In fact, when I feel bad for somebody, I found that doesn't help me or them. Anyways, what I want you to understand is that you want to think greater than who you used to be. The only way I was able to overcome my skin issues and my health issues was by thinking greater than the challenge, not by trusting. And so the thing with skin issues is that I had this uncontrollable urge to scratch myself. And I could have played victim. I could have, and I did for a very long time. And I realized that got me nowhere. I played victim for a very long time. And eventually, I came to the conclusion that what I had to do was stop feeding the fire. That's what you have to do. If you have this, when you have something called eczema, that's what people call it, eczema, which, between me and you who are watching this video, I think it's a story. I think a lot of health issues is a story that we tell ourselves about who we think we are. I'm not a health professional and I'm not qualified to give this advice to anybody. But I had to drop the story of who I thought I was. I had to drop that story. I'm this sick person with this illness and I can't do these things because I'm sick. I had to drop all of that in order to really heal. And again, the only way that I was able to do this was by thinking greater than this identity that I was attached to, and also feeding this urge to uncontrollably scratch myself. Okay, and again, I'm not saying this for you to feel bad. Again, first of all, I've already overcome that challenge. Second of all, you can apply this in your own life in whatever way that means to you, because you don't need to be attached to that old identity. You can think greater than that challenge, and actually once you're done, once you've received that solution, go be it, right? Stop trusting in the pattern. See, I'm going to share with you in a moment here how to really do this in a powerful way, but oftentimes it has nothing to do with how you feel. If I only trusted my feelings, and again, I know how this sounds. I'm not saying this to put you in a position of not trusting your highest feelings. I always encourage every single person to trust their feelings above anything else. How you really feel is always what you want to trust in, no matter what, in my opinion. But you want to distinguish between how you really feel, which is your higher self calling you to go somewhere, and which is you, and an emotional reactive pattern of the past. So trusting my feelings is not what was going to help me to get out of that situation. I had to think greater than my feelings and then go become that, and just don't think about it. Don't think about it. Just don't think, just act. Just be that new version and trust that I'm going to become that person. So thinking greater than the challenge was how I was able to overcome that. And that's what I encourage you to do as well. Now, the third thing that I want to share with you in this video is to take radical action and get into that flow state. Get into that flow state. Don't think, just be and do. Now, radical action is an interesting collection of words because most people, when they hear the word action, they think, okay, I need to dishonor how I feel. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Action and moving forward is the biggest illusion of all time because you think that taking action and moving forward is difficult. No, I'll never forget when one of my mentors told me that action is easy and action is not hard. What is action? Action is flow. And what is flow? It is an emotion. Action equals an emotion. Now, what is an emotion? Let's break this down. An emotion is energy in motion. It's when you're flowing in a certain direction. Now, when you're in action, you're not actually in resistance. Resistance means you're inactive, you're stagnated, you're stuck. That's what inaction looks like. Inaction means resistance and you're stuck and you don't know how to feel how you want to feel. See, even sometimes for me, meditating, I sometimes feel more resistance meditating than I do recording a video. Why is that? Because sometimes I can get into those spiritual states of consciousness by dedicating my life purpose dedicating my consciousness to my life purpose, and then that becomes the spiritual practice. This is huge. I want you to note this down if this resonates for you. Being in action towards your highest self can become your spiritual practice. And if this applies to you, this might be what you have to hear. You might have been going through something similar. Anyways, to conclude this video, I want you to understand that trusting in a feeling is not always going to get you to trust your higher self. Your higher self. You want to trust in something greater than that feeling and go trust yourself to become that. And I want you to notice one thing here if you try this to conclude this video. That I want you to trust that if you feel bad in your life in any way right now, I want you to trust that how you feel is not a good indicator of if you should go in a certain direction. Because oftentimes, once you start moving towards that highest vision, then you feel much better. When I was uncontrollably scratching myself and hurting myself, I didn't feel like recording a video. That's the last thing I felt like doing. But I knew that if I embodied the identity of being a healthy and whole person, that the flare-up would decrease, and that's exactly what happened. That's literally exactly what happened. And I wish for every single human being to also do the same in their own way, whatever that means to them. And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.